Hey there, I am Poised, and this week I'll be managing and hosting Oswaller. Unfortunately, because of school and personal reasons, Rush, who managed and hosted last week's episode, will not be able to manage episodes in the future. Now, a fair warning, I wasn't able to start working on this episode until the 16th around 2 am. And yes, that was tonight, so please bear with me. We promise that we'll start uploading on a set schedule every Sunday, because in my opinion a less polished episode is better than no episode. Oh boy, what a week it has been. In last week's episode we talked about Idke getting the number 1 spot, but almost directly after our video went live, Mathi went and made it obsolete by taking back the number 1 spot by setting a 600 PP score on the map XX Me Darling Extra with Hidden and Nightcore. Congratulations Mathi, just please wait a bit longer next time. Next, something some of you may have noticed on your profiles. The new OSU supporter badges, which directly relate to how much you've spent on supporter. So, for example, if you've bought supporter for less than 1 year, you have 1 heart. If you bought for between 1 to 5 years, you have 5 hearts. And if it's above 5 years, you get 3 hearts. That's pretty cool. Moving on, the ever so talked about PP changes. There's no exact date announced currently, but it seems as though the update may be soon. Aren't sure what we're talking about? Here's a brief summary of the changes, and if you'd like a slightly less brief summary of these changes, check out the link in the description. Big thanks to Vaxei for providing this. To start things off, the length bonus changes. In the current PP system, object count is used to gauge the length of a map rather than drain time. Due to this, 2-minute stream maps could be given the same bonus as a 5-minute jump map. The new changes attempt to fix this by splitting speed and aim length bonuses into their own categories, along with some other changes. Now, onto speed. At this point in time, streaming speed is heavily underweighted in terms of PP, leaving many speed players at ranks that are quite disproportionate to their skill. The current proposed change would give a bonus for streams with a BPM of 220 or higher, which would scale in a linear fashion. But a recently proposed change is instead suggesting a non-linear scale and a lower BPM threshold, somewhere around 200 BPM. Angles are going to see a change as well, and the idea at the moment is to give a bonus to larger angles. However, this causes an issue with stream angles, making them heavily bloated with PP. This is apparently being looked into. Lastly, flashlight. The current method of PP calculation for flashlight is a bit complicated to explain, so I'll just TLDR the changes. Very simply put, the idea is to make flashlight's bonus scale linearly. Shorter maps would be nerfed, while longer maps would get a large buff. The initially proposed changes have already been merged with the official OSU code, but I plan to lessen the nerf on short maps before pushing this. People speculate that this will be the first change seen in the official client, but there's no confirmation on this. Peppy has confirmed that these proposed changes will be implemented. However, he has stated that they are a work in progress, meaning whatever you've heard about it is subject to change in the future. Doing some rewinding to last episode, we got Idke getting number 1 global again, overtaking Mathi the day after he took number 1 from Idke. He did so by playing the legendary map Soulja Boy Turn My Swag On with double time and no fail, hitting only one 50 note, taking number 1 spot by farming bonus PP. Next up, the OSU team has made a post declaring their stance on mapping commissions, the act of paying mappers to make a map of a song you want in OSU. The post itself is quite long, but the summary is that they have decided that all members of any OSU team involved in the ranking process, for example BNs, squads, etc., will be explicitly forbidden from participating in paid modding, ranking, or beat mapping while they're on the team. Ultimatums have been issued to OSU team members that are currently participating in commissions, and they will be required to either stop doing commissions or withdrawing from the OSU team. If anyone is found out to be doing them still, they will immediately get kicked from any and all teams they're on. Following this announcement, Sotarks has announced that he will be opting to stop his mapping commissions, choosing to instead focus on being a beatmap nominator. Next up we have Shayne on Twitter, who posted a pretty cool video of him running OS Laser on a 120Hz iPad, showing once again how far OS Laser has come. And for you Android people out there, you can thank user Tasneem who asked, "Android when?" To this Shayne replied that I have someone working on that, which I think sounds very exciting. Following that exciting post we have FreeAmplify, is that how you say the name? I'm sorry. Giving us some more excitement by confirming that he is working on OS Rewind 2018. I really can't wait to see this video. If you haven't seen his 2017 version yet, I'd strongly recommend that you do so. Here's a small little clip from it. Oh wait, did we say earlier that Idke is number 1? Well, he's not anymore. Mathi once again, 2 days after Idke did his Soulja Boy play, took back the number 1 spot. I think it's very exciting to see a new battle for number 1, and we'll probably be seeing them switch places again shortly. I promise that there isn't any more number 1 news in this episode, and as of this recording, this is how the rankings are looking. Mathi is number 1 with 14,585 pp, and Idke is number 2 with 14,583 pp. That's just a 2 pp difference. And that was all for the news this week. Let's go on to the scores. As you may have predicted, this week's score section will quite heavily feature Mathi. So starting off, we have him playing Necrophantasia on the Sotark's Lunatic Diff with hidden double time, getting an SS earning him 682 pp. Next up we have a super cool score by Vaxei on the Big Black with Hidden, FCing and getting only 100. This puts him at the number 2 spot on the leaderboard, right behind Wolf's HDHRFC on it. After that we have Idke being the first to FC Dragon Force's Cry for Eternity with Hard Rock, getting 549 pp and number 1 on the map. Now we have Mathi getting 747 pp on the map Kana Boon Silhouette, which he FC'd with hidden double time. Next up we have Bubbleman getting a hidden Hard Rock FC on the map Lushka Kamo no Kotoba. What's extra special about this play is that this map only has 3 other FCs and all are no mod, which means Bubbleman was the first person to FC this map with either hidden or Hard Rock, and he did it with both at the same time. Then we have another score by Mathi, this time on the map Kenshu Ono Story with hidden double time, where he FC'd and got 708 PP and the number 1 spot on the map. Now we have GN getting an insane choke on Kitsune Rainbow Tylenol on the Hell difficulty with Flashlight, where he only got 1 miss, 819 combo into the 823 combo long map. This play got him number 1 spot on the map. Next up we got another Dragon Force score by Idke on the song Through the Fire and Flames on the Legend difficulty, being the first to FC with Hard Rock. This gave him what most would call unfairly low 487 PP, but at least he got number 1 on the map. After that we have the 2 last Mathi scores for this week, the first one being a choke on the Cinderella Project Star map with hidden and double time, where he got 2 misses right at the end. This gave him 687 PP, and if he FC'd it would have given him 763. The other score is a one we've already mentioned in this episode. It's the score Mathi took number 1 on XX Me Darling with Hidden and Nightcore, where he once again choked right at the end, getting 3 misses, but he still managed to get 600 PP. Now for a real kicker, all scores we have mentioned by Mathi, except for the Necrofantasia play, was done on the same day, December 10th. And for the last score this week, we have Rafis getting back into the game with a new personal top play, getting 811 PP on Blade Dance with hidden double time. This play also earned him the number 5 global spot.
Yeah! Hell yeah!
As said, that was the last score for this week, but make sure to stay around. After memes, I'll be talking a bit about what has been happening over here at Circle People lately, and why the heck not, let's do a giveaway as well. But more info on all that after the memes. let's start with the giveaway, because the next part will probably be a bit boring for most people, and mostly me talking with close to no editing. Our plan was to give away 4 months of supporter to 4 people, but then CP staff Ulle came along and now we're doing 5 people and 6 months each, for a total of $80 given away. Just follow the gleam.io link in the description and click all the things you're interested in doing to earn tickets. Main thing to make sure is that you're subscribed and that you comment on this video. Now let's head on to my little questions and answers. I'll start by replying to questions I got today on Twitter and YouTube, then I'll answer some questions I've seen quite a lot before. First question comes from Victor on Twitter. Oh. Second question comes from Nidoking on Twitter. Oh. First real question is from BMX on Twitter, who's asking if we've ever thought about coming up with a new acronym for our channel. Is this actually something people see as a real problem? I'm actually never really sure, and I always keep joking about it nowadays. The name Circle People comes from back when it was an unnamed Skype OSA group, where I just made a stupid pun about how we're all just a circle of friends in this OSA group. We're the Circle People. Then we started a channel just for fun to showcase plays by some of the players in that Skype group, which is why the first video on this channel is so out of context, or whatever you call it nowadays. I don't really believe that this is a real problem, as long as we don't use logos that just say CP, which I guess we actually did have at the start, but because almost all comments became about it, we changed to Circle People on logos instead. Next question is from Creston Kurotani on YouTube, who asks what our most challenging task is. Well, I'll answer what Circle People's most challenging task is later in another one of the frequent questions, but personally the most challenging task working on Circle People is to always be connected. Always keeping a lookout for scores popping up, always being available to upload them as fast as possible, etc. Back when I still went to school and were managing this channel mostly alone, I would have alarms in the middle of the night so I could wake up and check if there were any new scores that had to be uploaded. And when I was in school, I'd always be connected to my PC via TeamViewer on phone, and if something had to be uploaded, I'd just do it through there. And this is probably one of the main reasons I kinda burnt out for a while. Second question from YouTube is by Chris, who asks, is there gonna be a nerf soon, and if yes, what is it gonna be? Well, there will be PP changes soon, as we talked about earlier in this episode, but the reason I choose to answer this question is because there is quite the common misconception that Circle People is tied to the official OSU staff in some way. I very regularly get messages and comments asking about stuff like this, and especially people asking me to unban them or remove their silences. Sorry guys, I can't do anything about that. Circle People is not related to official OSU staff in any way. Now let's go on to the more frequent questions I just see in comments and sometimes get messaged about. This will probably be a bit of word vomit, or whatever you want to call it, and all the questions and answers will be kinda soon together. I'm just writing down what comes to my mind and then just recording the voice for it. The main thing I get currently is what happened. And with that, people of course refer to the past several months where Circle People just hasn't been as good as we used to be. I really hate to say it, but we have become way too inactive, and this community does deserve better than, us being inactive. But what actually did happen? Well, first off, Poist, the creator of Circle People, just burnt out hardcore. And at the same time as I burnt out, I also got some personal problems that just aren't that helpful. I'm also not in school anymore, and I live in my own apartment, which means that I need money. So I need a job. But if I get a job, I won't have time to do Circle People stuff. So instead I do freelancing stuff to survive. Although with everything else on top of having to freelance, it just sometimes becomes too much and I just kind of burn out. I'm starting to get this under more control though, and I do feel that I'll be fully back before this year ends. But doesn't CP have other staff except you may ask? And yes, we do. We have a lot of really great and helpful people over here at Circle People. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it's good that they have lives. They also have school, work, final, and just IRL stuff that isn't circles that they need to take care of. And the next question is, of course, so why don't you just add more people to the team? And this is the thing I referred to when I got asked what our most challenging task is earlier. Short answer, because it's hard. Very, very hard. Longer answer, because it's scary and very, very hard. When adding someone as an uploader on YouTube, you have to give them full rights to the channel. They can do everything except delete the whole channel. But that includes deleting all videos and a bunch of other terrible things. I do trust our staff, and there are many other non-staff people I trust as well, but you never know if someone may just get a mental break and go rogue, or even if someone just has bad security and gets hacked. With each person we add, the risk for this increases dramatically. You may think that I'm way too paranoid about this, and I could agree, if it weren't for the thing that I've already had this happen a long time ago. When the channel was really small, I added a person, I'll leave unnamed in this video, to the staff, who after some time in the staff just deleted several of our top videos at a time. Fortunately, this person didn't delete everything we had and only a few of the top ones. I removed that person quickly and have been scared about it ever since. But even if we ignored that risk, there are other things which makes adding new uploaders most of the time just not really worth it. Circle People is run by volunteers. No one in Circle People is getting paid for their work, and this means people just get burnt out really quickly. People get into the staff team with lots of motivation, upload 5 videos every day for 2 weeks, then they get burnt out. This has happened with almost everyone we've added to the staff team. Now, all my answers here have been kinda dark and bleak. Let's change that around. I've multiple times in the past said that we're working on it, now we're back, etc. But I don't believe that's enough for all of you to keep your hope in us anymore. So let me reveal some of the plans we have. There are 3 main projects that will be happening in Circle People. When all 3 of these are complete, CPV2 will be starting, as I like to call it. First big project I want to do, which will be the quickest one, is that I want to remake our Discord servers and merge the Circle Helper and the Circle People server into one. When doing this, we'll also structure things a lot better, make more clear rules, and then be very strict with those rules. This will help us staff out quite a lot, as finding scores and recording them should be easier than ever. The second big project is one that Kelderman, the guy you saw above who donated some extra money to the giveaway, is in charge of. He's the manager for a new website project where we'll build a new website from scratch. Currently we're still early in this project, but our ideas for it is to have an open source website with many cool features. In the future, people outside of Circle People staff will be able to help out here, but all the parts for that work isn't there yet. If you're interested in that, make sure to join our main Discord server and just be on the lookout for mentions. One of the main points of the new website will be super improved skins database. To do this, we've also teamed up with the guys over at Skin House, who with us will be running the skin section of the website. In the future, we'll also allow anyone with an OSU account to upload skins, and then those skin pages will have some very cute features such as favorite buttons, automated image generation to see how the skin looks like, etc. And the third main thing is unfortunately not something I can talk about just yet, but you'll probably notice it in the future. That was all for this episode. If you enjoyed these videos, make sure to thank our patrons on our Patreon page for helping making this possible. See you next week. Or actually, I don't know if I'll be hosting next week. We'll see. Thanks for watching.